Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to talk about the recently announced Kill Team Moroch. So the first thing to say is I was totally wrong. A couple of days ago, I put up a video rumouring that it was going to be squats versus Gallowpox infected in corridors. It's in fact Marines versus Traitor Guard in Battlezone Fronteris, which I have to say congratulations to everyone in the comments who was here to tell me that it was going to be Traitor Guard, because of course the leaks from Bolter and Chainsword last September had Traitor Guard on the list. It did make a lot of sense. But here we go. This is what we've got. Let's dig into the box and have a little look. So the first thing we've got to go through is the Phobos strike team. So there are 10 models in the box. This is the current Phobos kit, so the one that makes the two different things. It makes the infiltrators and the incursors, and plus a new kill team upgrade sprue in the format we're very much used to. 10 models in the box. I watched the video. I think he seemed to imply that it will be 5 models in your team, because he said like you 5 this way. Zimbad swears double blind that he heard him say 5 and you making 6. Currently, of course, with the data slate, it is 6, so it's going to be 5 or 6 models in the team, 10 in the box. Obviously, you're not going to use all of them, much like the Chaos Space Marines recently that came out in Nachman. So let's have a better look at these models that they've shown off. So this is what they showed off on the stream. I've looked through the website and the video, and this is the best picture that we have of the models. So the first thing to look at, and you'll see this on the first slide, some of these guys are generic troopers. So here, these are 3 normal troopers, and I will point out on the next slide models with their exact same pose in the core box that you can buy online. So we're looking really at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 specialists. So we have a Grenadier. So we have this new piece where he's holding this smoke grenade. Now this could just be an elaborate trooper, okay? But I think between the grenade and the bear head, I think he's likely to be some kind of specialist, possibly in the vein of the Tau, the Grenadier, you know, that gets to start with some grenades that he doesn't pay equipment points for. Maybe starts with some smoke grenades. This certainly looks like a smoke grenade, right? So he's going to have that smoke grenade rule, I guess, would be a possibility. We've got the marksman here, okay? Now this was called out by Adam Troke on the stream as being the marksman. So it does look like he has a very similar gun to all of the others. I guess he's differentiated by having these goggles, and he's got this little bionic targeting eye thing. So my guess would be he's going to be some sort of silent shooting fella. You know, very common that we've seen. This really does seem like a kill team by the numbers in a lot of ways. This guy with the Auspex and the sensor skull, I'm guessing is some kind of comms or scanner. He might function like a comms where you can give an extra AP to somebody else. He might have some other series of special rules, but he seems like some kind of information specialist of some kind, right? We've got the Helix Adept down here. So it's the first time I've had Helix Adept kit available outside of the big multi-set. I'll talk more about that in a minute. So he's going to be our medic. This guy here looks to me like a demo charge. Now, if you're looking on the website, you won't see this guy featured, but he was featured in the stream. Okay, and it looks to me like he has a detonator here and a little pack of C4 down here. And then we've got a veteran. He's got this big purity seal here marking himself out, okay, and a bear head. And he reminds me a lot of the guy in the Krieg set that's got the big medals. He's got big purity seal to make him nice and obvious on the tabletop. So he's obviously got some kind of special rules. He's holding a knife, so maybe he's like better at fighting in close combat with his knife. The sergeant, who doesn't appear to have any special equipment, but is very clearly marked out as the sergeant. He seems to be dabbing, which is sad, but you can probably build him differently. And those are our guys. So If it's like anything else, we won't be using the troopers. They're just there to bulk out the photograph because they had to use the 10 models for the kit. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 specialists and a sergeant. You're never going to get 7. You might be doing 6, you might be going 5. So building this team is really going to be a case of asking yourself which of these that you don't want to take. Now, let's look at some interesting stuff with these models. So there are loads of existing models. So the first two, basically my hypothesis here is that you don't need to buy this kill team to play this kill team. So let's look here. First two shots here are the existing Phobos armor box. You can go to Games Workshop, you can buy this today. Okay, this is the infiltrators on the left, and the alternate build for them, the incursors, on the right. So you can see that we have sergeants. He can be our sergeant, no problem. We've got this kind of comms guy who, you know, we are going to get these parts in the kill team box. So whether this is a separate extra optional specialist, but if it's not, if they're just redundant parts, then that could easily fill in for your servo skull guy. Okay. And then hopefully you can pick out those 3 warrior sculpts that I flagged up before as being identical to some of the ones that are in the background here. Like we saw this guy, and I think we saw this guy, right? And I think we saw this guy. I think those are the 3, or it might have been this guy. But if you flick backwards and forwards, you'll see the 3 the same. I just wanted to say on the incursors, you've got this haywire mine that you could easily use to represent your demo guy if you didn't want to buy the kill team box. And then I don't know if people remember what used to be called Shadow Spear, and these sculpts are now only available in the Getting Started, the Space Marines Combat Patrol, but that box did contain a Helix Adept. It wasn't until now the only way to get a Helix Adept, so you used to be able to get a Helix Adept from there, and also you got a guy tossing out a smoke grenade as well in that kit. So if you have a Space Marine army and you have this stuff knocking around, you know, what are you left then trying to do with conversions? You've got to do your veteran. Well, I'm sure you can find some purity seals and some Terminator honors and other bits of bling in your bits box to make a veteran holding out his knife. And, you know, there's even an arm here holding out a knife that you could use, right? And then you've got to have your marksman. Well, even though that they are these guns, you could put one of these backpack targeters and one of these heads on to identify your marksman. So listen, to be very clear, I'm going to buy the new kit and I'm going to use the pieces. But if you have a Marine army, if you have this stuff lying around, you probably don't need to actually buy the new kill team stuff to make all those specialists. There's nothing fantastic and new. What they've done really is they've made stuff easier to get hold of in terms of the Helix Adept by putting it into the existing, putting it into a new sprue with the existing multi-part kit. So I'm glad they've done a Marine team, but I just think because of all those elements that I've picked across what's already out there, there's nothing truly exciting about them in terms of miniatures. And it makes me wonder, did these need to be one of our box set teams, or could this have been a White Dwarf team? Like, I'm thrilled that they're going to get rules. I'm just, like I say, the miniatures with the various elements, very similar elements out there, there's nothing I showed on the previous slide that blows me away about them in terms of the actual crafting of the miniature. So excited to see the rules. I'm going to use the new parts. I'm going to buy the big box. I want to support Kill Team. I want to buy everything that Games Workshop put out with the Kill Team logo on to send that really strong message to Nottingham to keep supporting the game. But it is just something that I noticed while I was, you know, looking through all the model shots and trying to work out what the specialists were. And then we got the bloodied Kill Team, which is, I guess, the more exciting for a lot of people. So these are the Traitor Guard that everybody except me saw coming. So on the stream, it implied that each could be a specialist or a lasgun guy. So each of the 10 Traitor Guards. So I am guessing, and we're going to have a closer look in a minute, I'm guessing that we're going to be missing, there's going to be a few specialists that we don't know about. Probably. Okay. They've thrown in the sprue from Traitor Command. So these two models here are not new. They came in a Blackstone Fortress expansion called Traitor Command, where you got an Ogren and a Traitor Commissar. But the 10 other models around them are brand new. Brand new. Let's have a closer look. So here's my best guess at what's going on. First thing I'll say, there's 11 models on here because this comms guy was not shown on this slide, but he was shown in the video. So you've got like a comms type guy here, okay? We've got a couple of troopers. So there's one trooper here, there's one troop here, and then potentially another trooper, or potentially he's a grenadier again. I'm less confident of him being anything special than I was with the Phobos grenadier. I don't know why. I just think maybe that's just a normal trooper, just with a opposed arm. So I'm guessing, by the way, that there's 2 or 3 troopers. One of those you build into the comms if you decide to build a comms, most likely, and then the others are, there's likely to be other things that you can build with them to have different options, because Adam Troke did say that every single one could be a specialist. I'm assuming, for example, they've shown the plasma gun because they know, like, plasma's important in Kill Team. I'm assuming he has melter and flamer options, probably on the sprue, because it's a sprue that's going to be for 40k as well. So I would assume just for 40k they won't be stuck with just the plasma gun. There'll be a melter and flamer as well. Whether it's going to be like Krieg, where you can take all the gunners, or whether they're only going to let you take one gunner with the choice of weapons, I don't know. Yeah. So we got the sergeant. Hopefully the sergeant comes with weapon options. Plasma pistol, power weapon would be nice to see for the sergeant, because, last pistol chainsaw kind of sucks. This guy was called out on the stream as being a stealthy guy, so I called him Stealth Stabby because he's obviously a combat specialist. We've got our butcher, who looks like he's kind of a more frenzied guy with his big meat cleaver, who's going to be like charging the front, kind of a combat specialist. And we've got a third combat specialist who likes a lot of chocolate on his biscuit. 90s UK lunchbox reference for you there, who has a big club, and 3 combat specialists for a guard team. It's got shades of novitiates, right, where you've got weak chassis, but you've got 3 guys that want to charge up against combat. So we'll see how that plays. We've got the sniper. It's nice to see a sniper who isn't kneeling down, so that's cool. He's got a sniper rifle. We kind of know what he's going to do. We've got some kind of breacher guy who's like a mid-range guy with a shotgun and a shield. I'm sure he has kind of interesting rules. I'm sure he's going to be quite difficult to use. You're going to want to get in close with his shotgun and then try and get as many shotgun shots off as you can before he gets charged, which people are going to want to do to get round his shield. And that's effectively, and then we got the Ogryn and the Commissar, right? The Ogryn's going to be a big bruiser, obviously, who hits people with his giant powered girder. That's what that looks like, right? A power girder. And the Commissar has a power fist and a bolt pistol. It'll be interesting to see if the sergeant is the leader, or if the Commissar is the leader, or if the Commissar is like an optional, like, takes 2 slots type thing, or how they decide to do the rules with that. But they're quite interesting. Let's again look at what's already available. So in Blackstone Fortress, there are a couple of Traitor Guard. So you've got a sergeant, you've got a regular guardsman with a pistol, you've got another regular guardsman with a pistol, you've got a guardsman with a grenade, you've got a lasgun, you've got a flamethrower, and you've got a guardsman with a bayonet. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 unique sculpts, which are then, you've got 2 copies of the sprue. So the one thing I would say with this is, if it turns out that you can take all of the special weapons, like Krieg can, and you're not wanting to you're having to buy 2 boxes to double up to have all the options. If you've got Blackstone Fortress, you don't need to make a flamer, right? Because you'll have a flamer that you can sub in who's probably more individual. If the sergeant doesn't have options, I think the Blackstone Fortress sergeant's really cool, and cooler than the new Kill Team one, but obviously it is a monopose model, so it has a last pistol and a chainsword. If the sergeant in the multi-pot kit has an option for a plasma pistol, power weapon, you're obviously going to take those, but it is an option there for you just to diversify your team. Okay, if you're someone who already has Blackstone Fortress. And then the terrain's really interesting. It's the Fronteris stuff, which is a reprint, but it's a reprint of a kit that only recently came out. So they sold the whole Fronteris set, which is everything you see here, except for there was an extra board and you got doubles of this bit, which is the STC Hab Bunker and Stockades. And they sold that as a 40k terrain set for like quite a lot of money. But this is really lovely because you're getting one of everything that was in that Battlezone Fronteris range. You're getting the STC Hab Bunker and Stockades. You're getting the Vox antenna on Auspex Shrine. You're getting the landing pad here, okay, as well. Which actually this bit is actually part of this kit, and then this bit is a separate little thing. You can go and look at those on the Games Workshop website. So all these individual parts are available now. You can go and look at them. You can go and look at the sprues. I didn't really like this kit when it came out. I think it was very much designed to service the requirements of competitive 40k players. I don't know if the needs of the competitive 40k scene are the same as the needs of the kill team scene. I am seeing a lot of heavy, it's going to be like Chalnath again, where it's like, oops, all heavy. I like the thin walls. The stockades are going to be good. I think the STC Hab Bunker is kind of pointless. I assume you're not going to be able to go inside it, so it's just like a big line of sight blocking lump with, you know, some cover on the front. That, I mean, they might define these as light, right? And they might define this as light, but I can just sense they're going to get defined as heavy. We'll see how it is to play on, and obviously it will come with some special rules. We've got a vantage point here, and we've got some little vantage points here, and vantage up here. It's a nice little table, you know. Obviously I'm going to pick it up. I don't know whether I'll get around to building it this year or not. Terrain is not my favourite thing to build and paint, but it should be interesting, shall we say. Okay. Yeah, so then that's it. It's not quite what I was expecting, but it was very cool. I can't wait to see the rules. I will say that I would still like it to have been squats. I haven't written a bullet point on the slide, but something that really sticks out to me is how many people who like Imperial Guard are going to look at the rules for the Chaos Guard and go, "Well, I want a Commissar and an Ogryn," and they're going to make Imperial Guard models that follow the Chaos Guard. Like, obviously it depends what they do with Marks of Chaos. If their rules have a lot of texture that makes them really chaotic, then maybe not. But I think you'll get at least a couple of people who are attempting to get an Imperial Guard Ogryn and drop it into some Imperial Guard Marines and get a Commissar. Commissars are cool, and, you know, and then to use the rules for the Chaos Guard, but to be playing in their headcanon and with their proxies Imperial Guard, but with an Ogryn, because the idea of, like, that's just cool. Like, on our kill team, here are our guys, and here's our Ogryn. And you could even use some models like the Schaefer's Last Chances have got a guy with two knives, the same as the kind of two knives specialist in the Traitor Guard as well. So maybe there is some scope for a cool proxy team there. And obviously for me, it depends on how textured the rules are with Marks of Chaos and things like that. But that's another thought. Let me know if you're excited for Kill Team Moroch, if it's what you wanted. Let me know if you wanted something else, if anything's disappointing you about it in the comments down below. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. It's the best thing you can do to help out a small channel. I know I'm asking and pleading a lot at the moment, but it's a kind of and it is working. I'm getting like tens of subscribers like almost every video, so it is working, so I keep mentioning it, right? So sorry if that's annoying to you, but it really does work. So please do consider that. Join the Discord, Element Games, all those kinds of things if you've enjoyed the video, you enjoy my content. Okay? Thanks very much. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and cheerio, everyone.